DJ Genesis, Detroit. Truth in the algorithm. Welcome to the live stream.
Yeah, live stream junkie with the mic turned on, breaking down the matrix while the lights stay on. Politics, religion, yeah, we question every claim, while the media playing narratives and shifting every frame. Ancestors speaking through the wisdom of IFA, cosmic knowledge shining like a distant star. From Detroit to the world on a digital stage, dropping truth bombs every time I hit the page.
Welcome to the channel where the truth get deployed.
DJ Genesis live from Detroit,
Breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed.
tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
Welcome to the channel.
Where the truth get deployed,
DJ Genesis live from Detroit.
breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed. Tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
Debates on fire, got the comments going crazy. Asking questions that the system can't face me. From ancient civilizations to the modern day lies, connecting dots that they hide from the public eye.
Knowledge of self, yeah, the ancestors guide. When the full moon rising for the spiritual tide,
This the place where the truth gets exposed.
every live stream another chapter unfolds.
To the channel. Welcome to the channel where the
Truth get deployed,
DJ Genesis live from Detroit. Welcome
breaking down the system, every lie gets destroyed. Tap in, subscribe, you rocking with the voice.
DJ Genesis Detroit. Truth seekers unite, 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 unite. Stay away, stay away, stay away. Stay questioning.
So, Ogbo Ato, blessing of long life. Akaba, welcome. Adupai Ori Egan. We thank the ancestors for their wisdom. I'm going to pause in my opening prayer right there to say that I believe that our Yoruba ancestors, Ifa ancestors from 10,000 years ago understood the crisis we're facing today. And I believe they gave us the tool to meet that crisis, elevate our consciousness, and save the world. And I believe that tool is communication with the spirit of Ela, also other Orishas as well, but the communication with Ela is what I would argue is foundational to our faith. And I want to make what to me is a significant point. In my lifetime, science has figured out that most things that exist in creation have consciousness. In other words, David Bohm, the great quantum physicist, made the statement that science was not predictive because nature itself has an element of consciousness and free will. That's a huge impact on those who have ears to hear what he said. But what David Bohm didn't say, which I think he believed and which was afraid to say, is that if the universe has consciousness, I shouldn't say afraid, he was reluctant to say it. If the universe has consciousness, then we have the ability to communicate with nature itself. And the key to that communication is the invocation of an altered state of consciousness. And one of those altered states is called Ela. So those that are familiar with Orisha, each of the Orisha has a chakra that they speak through. Obatala, Ochosi, Yemaya, Eshu, Ogun, Oshun, Oya, Shango, and the ancestors in the feet. But with the possession by Ela, we're invoking the ability to open all of our chakras at once, and then use the element of shape-shifting to direct our consciousness to the particular chakra that contains the information we need to fix a particular problem. So there's a big element of intention involved in what we do. So the fact that we have the key to communication with nature, it means we have the key to surviving the storm that is circling around us. You know, we got a choice. We can be reactionary to foolishness, or we can go to the heart of the solution. And IFA is a profound blessing in that it gives us the ritual technology to go to the heart of the solution, and we're going to activate that technology today. So before I do that, I want to say Ibre Lona, Alakia YA, peace on earth. And then I want to talk about how we're going to make this presentation. Oriki are always sung. There's no song. There's what's called heart song. It's sung from the heart. Although there's a response that's sung in unison. So Baba already mentioned it. The word Ela Ro means Ela descend. That's Yoruba for Ela possess me. The response is Sho Ka Le from the Elysian Osho Ika Ile, meaning the astral realm brings the power of the mothers to the house. The power of the mothers in this instance being wisdom. In every culture that I'm aware of, the collective body of wisdom is always described in the feminine as a goddess energy, and it's no different in IFA. So Shokale, in the future we'll talk about this. We're going to have a class on what all that means, but for now, the call and response element of the freestyle singing that I'll be doing, when I say "Eh la ro," everybody will go "Shokale" and let it ring a little bit. So that's the response. So we're saying, "May the spirit of light descend," and then we're saying, "May the astral realm bring the power of the mothers to the earth or to the house or the place where we're meeting." All right. So I'm going to sing the line and then I'm going to translate it. Baba has kindly asked me to read my interpretations, and then I'm going to ask his, and then I'm going to open it up. This is not a short prayer. We may have to break this up. I don't want to say that. If we don't finish the whole thing in a reasonable time, we'll continue it. But this is a really, I think, important exploration of the Oriki. And the word Oriki in Yoruba means praising the consciousness. So when you have an Oriki, it has the function of invocation, but it also has the function of instructing folks about the nature of the spiritual calling. You understand? So it has a dual purpose. And I'm going to say this as a proud papa. Our Ile really, and Baba's Ile and a couple of others, both Babas, have really pioneered the effort, I would call it, to reclaim the altered state of consciousness associated with Ela, which did not survive well during the middle crossing, or at least not apparently so. Did you see evidence of that in your research, Baba? Ela? Was there a reference to that in the Smithsonian archives?
Not by that name, but that, the idea of possession.
Okay, yeah,
is definitely there.
And possession by light too is a corollary idea. So yeah,
yes.
So it did survive. I checked myself there, but it wasn't as there's room for growth into the idea and its use as part of our ritual process. Let me say that.
But it's like the earlier comments you made before. They had it, but they had to rename it under circumstances.
And we're going. I would like a better understanding of that. But yes, absolutely. And I think the other component is possession by Ela, especially possession by Ela, whether you're a man or a woman, requires certain ritual processes done by the mothers, the ancestral mothers, commonly known as Iami. The mothers have the tools to open the portal that allows the spirit of light to come. That's why we say, Shokale. The astral realm invokes the mothers. Ika means breathe, but it means also invoking the mothers. And then Ile is a word used for earth, home, extended family, and so on. So it's right there in the language. The symbiotic, and I would say partnership of the feminine and masculine principle of contraction and expansion. All right, so enough of that. We're going to start. We start by saying Hediwo Ya, which in Yoruba means what do we pray for? The response is Agbo Ato, long life. So let's do it. Hediwo Ya.
Boato.
Perfect. Nice. Thank you. Ela omo sin, Ela omo yigi otaomi. Spirit of manifestation, child of the ruler. Spirit of manifestation, child of the offspring of the stone of the water. So the spirit of manifestation is known in IFA metaphysics as Olodumare, from the Elysian Olo Odu Oshumare, meaning the owner of the womb of creation. So Olorun incarnates the idea of creation, and Olodumare brings it forth into the physical world. That information is brought to the world in the form of a lateral light beam. A lateral light beam is a light beam with no wave. A lateral light beam is different than a wave light beam in that as it moves away from source, it gets stronger, and it travels all the way to the end of the universe and then doubles back on itself, creating the curvature in energetic patterns that exist throughout all of creation. But it's also, and the Yoruba word for this is awana pari. It's the holographic blueprint of all of creation. So any fraction of creation includes the blueprint for the entire spectrum of creation, which is one of the great miracles of reality. It's truly the miracle of Ela. So when we invoke Ela, we invoke access to everything knowable, which is human beings. We can't work with that. So our job is to attach that invocation with the idea of intention being the ability to focus our prayer on a specific issue so that we can limit the amount of information being downloaded to us to a manageable amount. Baba Falokun, do you want to say something?
Yes. So for me, my insight into this is that the first word, this is the primordial name that our ancestors have given not to a thing, but to a principle of manifestation. And it says born of the ruler, but this is not in the sense of a political ruler, but as the one that holds the entire alignment of creation. And so this child of the ruler, it says to me that Ela comes not as an autonomous principle, but as part of the cosmological order that's being thought or projected, emanated into existence. And as the principle of purity, as the principle of order, Ela emerges after the decision has been made, and Ela comes to anchor this decision into form. So, Baba, I also wanted to just spend a minute on this idea of the Osim. And I think in Yoruba, that has the significance of the left side, or that which is hidden. And my study of that word points me in the direction of Osim as that which is not directly visible, but structurally essential. So on Otun, which is right, we have that which is direct, that which is visible, and that which is socially legible. On Osim, the left, we speak of that which is hidden, that which is recessive, that which is emanates from the womb and from the source. So when we say Ela Osim, in my thinking about this, we're not simply saying Ela, child of the left. We're saying Ela is that principle that emerges from the hidden side of existence Ela is born from that which cannot be directly seen. So Oseen here for me becomes the invisible generative field, the pre-manifest womb of Ashe. And so Ela Oseen, the spirit of manifestation, is born from the hidden dimension of reality. Consciousness emerges from what cannot be perceived. And so Ifa says to me through this first line that what generates reality is not what you can see. It's what you have to learn to relate to without mastery. And this is, for me, is important because just in the first line, we're already being told that we have to loosen our grip on what we believe is certain. And this first line says we learn to honor the unseen as primary and not secondary. Ashe.
Yes, and that was astute. The Oseen is actually OC apostrophe N. That's a misprint there. OC meaning left, and N is like it's a filler. It doesn't have a linguistic function other than to separate two vowels, which is a rule of Yoruba language. So anything to the left is to the invisible side. So Ifa is about Otun, OC, right, left, balancing those two polarities throughout creation. Baba Eshu, do you want to comment, please? You good? Okay, so Awadi Oyigi Akiokuwa. We ourselves become manifestation. The stone that births the spirit of manifestation will never die. This really addresses the fundamental point of what I call Ifa paleoscience or ancient West African science and metaphysics. The stone that birthed creation. In Western science, mathematics is accumulative. 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 1 is 3, and so on, right? And in African math, 2 is half of 1, 4 is half of 2, 3 is half of 1 plus half of 2. So it maintains an interconnected, what science calls quantum entanglement element. And mathematics was invented to describe reality. We can thank Terrence Howard for really illuminating that very clearly from a West African point of view and showing how the way that you count as a description of reality influences how you see the world. And also shown, which becomes more clear as we get into the prayer, how you see the world creates the world. The praise for Arumila there in Eben, meaning literally the invisible realm that brings light to create the world. In other words, if it weren't for eyesight, the physical world would be a bunch of light waves. Waves become particles, again, based on the research and the scientific work of David Bohm. Light becomes particle, in other words, takes shape as a physical thing in the universe as a consequence of being observed by a conscious being. So that means all creation is co-creation, and that we can create any reality we want. So if we don't like the reality of living in a fascist dictatorship, collectively, 9 million people who showed up to say no can also say, this is what we're going to do from now on. And until we own that power, we're going to be victim rather than creator. And Ifa says that we have the power to invoke and ensure our own destiny. Baba Falokun?
Thank you, Baba. for me, this child of the stone in the water for me is one of the most beautiful cosmological codes in this Oriki. And as Baba has said many times, the stone represents this idea of the blueprint, and the water, the consciousness. And so together he spoke about this holographic archive of everything that has lived and will live. And so this is, for me, is how IFA talks about the cosmology of interconnected memory. And so we know that the Western scientists are now talking about quantum entanglement. But we see that our ancestors through IFA, they knew this thousands of years ago through the ideas of Ori and Ashe. So for me, the stone in the water is a reference to order, to the seed of order that begins this whole idea of creation, and it gets submerged in the fluid of becoming. Oyigi suggests to me the solidity, the unchanging truth, the unchanging pour in a changing world. And so Ela becomes the child of that union. Ela becomes the container of permanence inside impermanence, right? So if the water is the becoming, the stone is the memory, then for me, Ela is the holographic, as Baba said, container that holds the pattern of creation together. And this is one of the reasons Baba has said often that we use rocks as the foundation of our shrines. And it's because these rocks, these stones, they hold the resonance of the beginning. And then, Baba, did you do Awaji Oyigi also?
I don't think we're there yet, but go ahead and speak on it.
No, go ahead, Baba.
Okay, that's good. Baba Eshuyemi? Okay, listen, give me the emoji if you want to say something, right? I don't want to put you on the spot or anything. But I do want to acknowledge a guest here, I think for the first time, who is a living manifestation of this principle. Do you all know Mama Africa down from Chicago? She had really the social hub of our faith in Chicago. She lost it through some exploitation, I believe, and against all odds, reopened her store. And it's an impressive manifestation of both faith, intent, determination, and ability to create the world we live in. Did I get that right, Ia? Talk to us about what you did. Can you dismute there?
My apologies. I'm a little older on the technology side. I couldn't find the mute button. Thank you, Baba. Aboru Boye. I appreciate you for all of your support that you gave me during the time. Yes, it still is a difficult time. We're at a temporary location. We haven't found our permanent location yet. Spirit did navigate me to the permanent location. So now I'm just getting things in order to acquire that property. But yes, Mama Africa's Marketplace was created to be a public sanctuary and space where people can walk in off of the street and learn about Orisha and different African spiritual systems and other spiritual systems. We are still looking to continue to do that work and provide spaces where people can don't have to have the I don't know, like the secret room. People can just come in off the street that want to have an experience of alternative spiritual practices. And that's what Mama Africa is just to help people to navigate different spiritual practices and using IFA as a foundation. And just hoping to have more spaces where African spirituality is practiced openly and publicly and not in someone's basement, or, you have to be a part of this Ela to see it. But we open our windows, we open our doors, and we let people see it publicly and practice. And also give home and shelter to places people that may be wandering around and not necessarily having an Ela or feeling comfortable in the Ela that they're in, but not making a Risha practice specific to the one Babalawo or Iyanifa that and may have had a bad experience or something that's online. But holding up good character and love unconditionally for whoever walks through those doors, whether they're a Babalawo or someone that's just curious about the tradition, but just having a space where people feel safe, welcome, and loved is what we aspire to have. We are still looking for a location, and we know that because of the work that we do, that Spirit won't allow us to be without a location long. We are in a temporary location, Baba, so we are open for business, but we're just there short term until we find something different.
Yeah, so we're going to shift this prayer to an invocation on your behalf. Before I do that, I want to say this. The work I've seen Mama Africa do in Chicago is closer to my experience of family in Africa than most of what I see in the diaspora. This exclusive, only we and then one, all this. It's a communal effort. There are no secrets. It's rooted in love and common intentions and unequivocal support. So what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate that. I would like all 57 people online with us today to hear Mama Africa describe what the new location looks like and hold the image that it has manifested already. I will say a prayer after she does that, and then everybody will co-sign that prayer by saying Ashe. The intention will make it so. And those prayers, as all prayers, need to be done not by begging and hoping and wishing and wondering, but by knowing that the manifestation is a function of our intent and will be so. So, Ia, will you please tell us what you're looking for?
So the new location, the address is 4650 South Indiana. It's on the corner of Indiana and 47th Street here in Chicago. It is a 17,000 square foot building. It's about 7 storefronts, as well as an upstairs, a parking lot. It's directly on the corner. The way we would like to have it would be African mosaic art all across the building. It will be an African village where there's currently an African restaurant there and a grocery store already. Spirit led me there. And we will have the art, the spiritual, the cultural addition to that building. It's a brown building currently. It's 2 stories. Yes, and that is the building. And there's also 2 vacant lots on the side of it that we would love to be able to acquire to do outdoor events and things throughout the summer.
Perfect. So I'm going to say an invocation in Yoruba, and then when I go like this, everybody say Ashe. So, Ire Lona Ishegun Ilu Chicago.
Ashe.
Ilu Mama Africa.
Ashe.
Yeah. All right. So let's thank you. And let's give Mama a hand here for her hard work here in Chicago. She's showing us the way, believe me. If you ever get to Chicago, don't leave without visiting her place. It's really remarkable. All right. So where are we? Ela ro kiyo momo kiribiti ela ro shokale. Let's do that again. Ela ro shokale. Orong Korifa, the spirit of manifestation has descended to earth. We die no more. This is the name we give to destiny. I think a lot of people are not always conscious of the fact that when we speak of destiny, when we speak of our life, we're speaking about all of our reincarnations. We're not just speaking about this life. Once you put your life in the context of the entire cycle of life, one of the things that happens is you have a foundation for dismissing the fear of death, which is a fear that influences a lot of bad decisions. When you know that there is no death, that consciousness continues, that we do the right thing regardless of the consequence, and that we do the right thing by embracing courage and the knowledge of the collective good for the entire community. It takes a lot of fear, competition, negativity, and arguing out of life, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying we foolishly become martyrs. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying we make the right decision without the fear of the ultimate consequence. Baba?
Yeah, Baba, I think I just wanted to just step back and make have a reflection on the Awaji Oyigigi. This piece for me is very beautiful, because it shows in the Oriki how the it's a turn of Ifa, an inclusive turn of Ifa, because here we say we're not only calling down the spirit, but also it's a recognition that we are also fragments of Ela. Baba talked about this a minute earlier. So this says to me that we're not separate from the order, from the type of world that we seek, that this is already encoded inside of us. So this says to me, and it brings out the tremendously beautiful Ifa, what I call the Ifa paradox, which is we are already what it is that we're looking for, but we need Ela to remember. And this Awaji Oyigigi, for me, is our affirmation of cosmological identity. And the stone that birthed the spirit of manifestation will never die. This, for me, is really a phenomenal expression of Ifa's love for us, because this line holds the cosmological promise, so that what birthed Ela, the stone in the water, is beyond death. It's beyond decay. It's not subject to disappearance, because it's not bound to the physical plane alone. And the stone doesn't die because it doesn't forget. It's not temporal. It's a pattern in the universe. And what is born of that pattern, which is Ela, carries that continuity forward. And so we don't ever die, because we return to the blueprint that never left us. Ashe.
Yes, I want to add some. Oh, no, this is for the next one. Anybody want to comment on that? Don't be shy. All right, so I'm going to read the next one tonight. I'm going to try not to go on a rant on the next one. So I'm going to take a deep breath. Intiti ba nila wonche abo ala fumi. Now that is typically translated, has two words that I believe were deliberately mistranslated, which distort the meaning of our faith, and which have become common in the understanding based on that manipulation of language, seeded clearly into the first Yoruba English dictionary. Okay, so the translation is typically, he is the one who saved us, he made offerings to the spirit of manifestation. La does not mean salvation. Salvation is a Christian term that has connotations of relevance to doctrine and dogma. Light means the ability to connect to the source of consciousness and co-create the world. Those are not the same idea. Now, I'm not saying one's better. I'm not saying one's right or wrong. But if we're going to embrace the faith, and if we're going to understand the faith, you cannot use the language of one discipline to explain a concept that doesn't correlate. That's called cultural appropriation. It's called colonialism. It's called the usurpation of language. So Ela Nigbani La is saying, and Titi Nigbani La, excuse me, it means all sources of light in creation, is what that means. And so it's only salvation necessary if you believe in original sin, which Arumina doesn't believe in. He never taught. It's not part of our faith. You can't be saved from something that never happened. You understand? You can only be inspired to spread what Ifa calls Ile Ife, or the house of love, meaning unconditional love. And the other word that makes me just want to tear my hair out is Ebo. Ebo does not mean sacrifice. Never has, doesn't now, never will. We see it translated as sacrifice all the time. Ebo means offering. So folks say, well, Baba, what's the difference? Who cares? There's a big difference. When you use the word offering in the context of Ifa, you're using the word offering in conjunction with the use of power language to transform consciousness. The word Ebo is a synonym for what? It's a synonym for the alchemical process of elevation and transformation. Sacrifice is not that. Sacrifice is based on the notion that God is mad at you and you got to give him blood to make him happy, which ranks as one of the dumbest ideas I've ever heard in my life, which, forgive me, very judgmental. Let's rephrase that. It's an idea that's not consistent with the teaching of the prophet Orumila. We have 256 verses. Each one of those verses has between, each one of those, chapters, it's called, has between 1 and 200 verses. There's not one single word about the value of sacrifice, not one. And yet it's been infused in the meaning of every single verse that we quote. That's a huge denigration of our faith. It's gone unchecked. So sacrifice, I don't want to hear it. Anybody know the only religion that engages in animal sacrifice? Anybody know? That would be the Catholic Church. Every Easter, they kill a goat to reanimate the Eucharist. They kill the goat and they don't eat it. When you kill something and don't eat it, that's called a sacrifice. And, God bless them. And if they like it, I love it. But that's not what we do. If you're ever at a ceremony where somebody kills an animal and doesn't eat it, anybody know what that's called? When you kill an animal and don't eat it, it's called killing an animal and don't eat it. That's all that it is. Sorry, Baba. That's a little cool.
No, Baba, if I may, I just want to also emphasize what you're saying is very important, because this is a clear example of appropriating, in a sense, the worst aspects of Christian demonology.
Yes.
And also of Christian damnation. These ideas have been brought in from another source. They have nothing to do, as you've stated, with Ifa and Sheshe. They are very distorted interpretations. And I like the way you already said that salvation presumes that you're damned. You don't need salvation if it is not presumed that you're damned. That's the piece. And therefore, so too, as you said, with sacrifice, that presumes that you've got to appease a very, very angry and vicious deity. So I just want to underscore what you said, that these notions are, they're really anathemas to the tradition of Ifa initiation. Thank you.
But I would say they're not consistent with Christianity either.
They aren't. No, they're not with the best. That's why I said the worst aspects of what has become known as Christianity.
Baba speaks all the ancient biblical languages. We're going to have him on one day and talk about the distortion of Christianity, because I think that's important to understand consciousness. And I think it's really important to understand, and this is coming to the surface more than I've ever known it in my lifetime, the origins of Western Christianity are in Ethiopia. And the story of Jesus in Ethiopia predates the biblical story of Jesus by a lot. So let that sink in for a minute. All right. So Baba Falokun, did you want to comment on that last verse?
Just very briefly, Baba. I think in line with what is being said about this idea of the offering, I think this line offers us a glimpse into the protocol that Ifa suggests of how reciprocity becomes a foundation for realignment with origin. and how offering becomes a technology of returning to the rhythm of origin, and how that can restore us to our rightful path, our rightful place in the pattern of things. So this idea of the offering also says to me that this process, this technology that IFA signals here is participative, and so it's not passive. We have to engage with Ela, and it's a process of bringing ourselves back to who we really are by restoring our relationship with origin. Ashe.
Listen, I'm going to read two lines together, and I should have taken a closer look at that before today. I'm going to go off on the translation for both these lines. So we have Kotina Kotoro, which is typically translated as no substance and too small to be thought of. But Ko has for some reason, people seem amazed that African languages have synonyms. Here's a news flash. All languages have synonyms. One word, more than one application. So the word ko can mean to understand. It can mean not. It can mean to study, right? So kotina kotoro can mean, it says here, no substance, sorry. Ina is fire. So understanding fire, understanding passion, and understanding how that relates to possession. Possession is the vehicle through which passion comes to earth. And it's the fire of the passion in the light of Ela that transforms reality. Beni on Ela nigbani lani fe oba almola. Okay, so that's translated, he who delivered the mortals from all trouble, the chief of whom to know is to be saved. And then we come back to salvation. It literally says, Beni on nigba ni la ni fe, meaning the spirit of light brings us all the manifestations of unconditional love, the king of the house of light. That's different than whatever the heck I just read. So it's really important that we join hands and review the translations to make sure, what is it they say about computers? Garbage in, garbage out. We're really suffering with that big time, and suffering from it. This is a bit of a rant, but I'm raising it because I deal with this almost every day. If you go to an elder in our faith, and if you don't come away from that encounter feeling bitter about yourself, you need to find someone else to relate to, because they're not doing their job. It's our job as elders to role model unconditional love, and that never, ever involves denigrating anybody. The reason the first rule of Iwa Pele is make no judgment is because consciousness holds within its core the ability to change in any moment. And it's not our jobs to condemn people, hex them, and assume they can never change by belaboring a focus on past mistakes. If you feel diminished, if you feel denigrated, if you feel you're in the presence of a sexual predator, if you feel that you're being hustled, the problem we're having is people feel those things and they don't address it out of fear that the Babalawo is so powerful they're going to hex them and ruin their life. Sorry, that is cow poo-poo. Anybody who engages in those activities has no spiritual power to harm you in any way unless you let them. Whether you walk away from a fake elder and hold fear of their retaliation or hold your own power is your choice. It's got nothing to do with that other person at all, ever. And people get really upset with me when they call and say, I need protection because doesn't like me. And I say, okay, here's the protection. Assume that it can't get to you. Don't give it an opening. You have the strength. And here's why. In IFA, we practice that consciousness needs to align with Olorun, with God, with destiny, right? Doing juju or hexing somebody is based on personal will and personal jealousy. So here's the news flash in these two sentences. In the battle between human will and God's will, God wins every time. So don't give energy to the losing side of that dogfight, all right? Own your power, own your integrity, know that you can't be hexed unless you let it happen, and don't ask me to kill a goat so that you don't have to deal with your fears. It ain't gonna happen. Sorry. You know.
I'll go, Baba.
Who said that? Somebody said.
Brother Charles.
Thank you. So moving and grooving. All right.
Just a quick question, Baba.
Sure,
Is there an old dude that supports that process you just explained? Just curious.
There's 256 of them.
Okay, what does it say specifically about that? About overcoming witchcraft?
Every Odu is dedicated to the idea of expanding your consciousness to solve a problem. There are no, it's a little complicated because there are versions of Odu and then there are versions of Odu. You can find verses that are used that were largely made up in the diaspora that talks about, oh, I'm being hexed, I got to kill 3 frogs, hop on 1 foot, and hit a hammer against a frying pan. There are those verses. I would argue that I don't see those verses in the African corpus of Odu Ifa. And the fact that they don't exist tells me they have no function. You understand? It's a logic by omission, I would argue. Now, I'm not saying we never need to be protected, but what I am saying is we have the tools for protection in our own consciousness, and access to those tools is rooted in intention and confidence. You understand? I'm the most hex person you'll ever meet. And how worried do I look? You know, how worried do I sound? Ask how often do I offer a dog to my own goon pot? None of that. You know, and there are. Let me correct that. 7-star. There are verses that refer to the fact that you are being hexed. That those verses do occur. You want to know which ones? Osa Ogbe is one. Ogunda Ogbe is another. But both of those verses say that you rise above the hexing by alignment with your destiny, not by giving 2 thoughts about the person engaging in that foolishness. You know, I still struggle sometimes with being offended by people being overly critical. And because I've got a little bit of sense, I turn to Baba Falokun and say, tell me to stop this foolishness. And graciously, he does that. So, we kind of have community to remind each other of that. All right. Did that answer your question? I hope.
Baba, would head cleanings also be an effective route to take as well?
They would be, but the head cleaning is more related to the fact that self-hexing stays in our aura. So a head cleaning will clean away the idea that you're vulnerable. It might not necessarily clean away the idea where it's coming from at its source. That's a subtle difference. I hope that made sense. But yes, feeling vulnerable lingers in our aura and colors how we see the world. I mean, the example, if you were molested by somebody in a yellow shirt, every time you see a yellow shirt, you're going to go into a self-defense mode. Even though that person wearing the yellow shirt might be there to bring your winnings from the lottery. You know, the point is that kind of self-deception that's stuck in your aura and not cleaned away creates a distorted vision of reality, which can then have a negative effect on your potential good fortune.
I say, Bob. I say.
I hope that made sense.
Absolutely. Any remedies to help deal with that process that you just mentioned?
Yeah, critical self-evaluation, which is the whole point of divination. You know, if you have a negative, okay, we're getting off a little bit, but we'll touch this briefly. The purpose of divination is to allow you to fully experience every experience you have and let go of that which blocks you from expanding your consciousness. So you come to divination when you're confused, when you have a problem, when you're not sure what to do, when you're looking for support, all those things, right? And those things cause you to stay stuck in a particular way of thinking, all right? People think spirituality is, oh, I'll learn more prayers, I'll do more meditation, I'll sing more songs, I'll go to more bimbes, I'll consult divination with elders more frequently. That's what I call additive spiritual development. And IFA is fundamentally subtractive. Every time we grow, we're throwing away, discarding, and literally killing, pa is the Yoruba word, decapitate, those neural pathways that keep us stuck. And so what we do is we turn to divination to find the appropriate action, and then we take that action in spite of our fear. We fake it until we make it. You keep doing the right thing until it becomes second nature. And if you have to come to me for reinforcement every time you're afraid of something, you're not growing spiritually, you're becoming dependent on me. And if I'm not a person of ethical nature, I'm going to charge you for keeping stuck instead of actually doing the thing that we're here to do. You know, I don't want to give you a fish. I want to teach you how to fish. You know, and so what's in it for me? I'll tell you what's in it for me. If your life gets better, so does mine. That's the whole point. That's the fundamental premise of the collected component of IFA spiritual growth. So it serves me, it does me no good to keep selling you protection so I can make sure I pay my light bill. I mean, I call that the Make America Great Again method of IFA. We're really good at, denigrating each other, creating problems that don't exist, and staying stuck. You know, I live in a part of the world where people actually believe that Donald Trump is the second coming. It's mind-boggling. And they get very upset if you say that might not be true. But what I'm saying is at least the ability to consider that might not be true could go a long ways to fixing a lot of problems. And so we've adopted the what I call the reality TV consciousness of divide and conquer and denigrating the other by projecting our internal conflict on others. The first rule of divination, the first rule of the reason for invoking Ela is so that you can examine the internal conflict and look at what's Jung called your shadow and stop blaming other people for your unresolved spiritual growth. As long as you blame others for problems that you're 100% in control of, you will never expand your consciousness ever. And you will also close the door to the possibility of co-creation. These are not complicated ideas on the surface, but they're all profoundly challenging you to walk with courage in the world. I'm sorry, Baba Falokun, were you good for that? Those two sentences?
Yeah, just very quickly, Baba, this line just suggests to me that this passion that you talked about, this fire, this line kind of suggests this is the way that this fire, this passion, this truth moves through the quantum field, and how when we engage in this Oriki, this prayer of how this resonance can impact us and bring us back into alignment. So this line says to me that engaging with Ela is to resonate with the design, the original design of existence, and that is the fire, the passion of the truth of that original design of existence. Ashe.
Originally, Papa,
Yes.
Mother had her hand up.
IFA Divination, did you want to say something?
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Actually, I just first of all, welcome everyone. And I don't generally join in often, but I do want to add this. The reason for doing Eba, for giving offerings, is to focus, to be able to focus on what you want. We have everything. We have everything we need. So if you have fear as your focal point, that's what you're going to project. Understand that Ori, the idea of perception, depends on your space, where you are in time. A person who is at the top of a mountain looking down has a different perspective about seeing people from the top down than the people who are on the base of a mountain looking up. It's two different perspectives. So what we do need to understand is where we are in our reality. Where are we in our reality? And when we find out where we are in our reality, we need to find out what we need to do to elevate that spot. Elbows give us that elevation because it helps us focus on the desired thing that we have. But we are already that thing. We are already light. You don't need to go outside of yourself to find light when it's inside of you. But if you have a hard time recognizing where you are, where your spot is, where you're looking, from what perspective you're looking at, then you need something to help guide you. That's what Odu. That's what Odu does for a person or for people. That's what Ebals do for people. It gives us the focal point, the desire, the movement that we need to do to be able to go forward. Understand that light, when we speak of Ela as a light, you're looking at a point. But if you're looking at a point, if you turn it sideways, it's a line. If you're looking at it from direct on, it's a point. If you turn it sideways, it's a line. And if you put momentum in that, then you get a wave. But all of these are different perspectives. So in order to get those perspectives, in order to understand that, we need to reflect on where we are and what our part is, and that's where ego comes in. Because ego allows you to recognize that you are and gives you the opportunity to recognize where you are. Ashe.
Jay, listen, this next line actually summarizes in a way what you just said. Ela omo osin mo wario, ela meji mo wario. So let's look at our understanding of Yoruba. Ela omo osin. The spirit of the light is the child of wisdom to the left. Wario, from the Elysian Iwa Ori, means the spirit of Ela understands the coming of consciousness from Orun to Ia. Heaven to earth, not good translation, but you know what I mean. From the invisible to the visible. In other words, Ela understands what we are going through because the principles that incarnate the universe also incarnate consciousness. This is the idea of as above, so below, which Baba Eshu Yemi is a great scholar of. He can show you that idea in probably 50 different traditions, I'll bet. And so it's a universal idea of human consciousness. You know, it's not like there's something separate. Baba Falokun, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I had interpreted Mowadio as I witness or I see or I have consciousness of. So I'm
it's similar. I would agree. That's not bad.
Yeah, and so so this says to me that when it's kind of a praise, right? It's a line of praise to Ela, which says, you know, Ela, I don't just believe, but I witness you, I see you. And that recognition is energetic, and that recognition arises through the relation that's constructed when we pray this Oriki, right? When Ela wrote. And so the Ela Meji, I agree with Baba also that it's very interesting because Ela Meji, so we're talking about a twin spirit of manifestation. And so this duality that Baba just spoke about, what manifests and what's not manifest, what's above and what's below, what's form and what's formlessness. And so this really says to me that Allah is this principle of balance, right? It's this principle of balance. It's a dynamic principle of equilibrium, and it goes back to what Baba was saying about how we deal with the navigating life, which Sarah was mentioning, through offering that serves the purpose of returning us to equilibrium, to balance in the universe. Ashe.
Exactly. All right. So this next line is a protocol, brings up a protocol issue. So the line says, Ela moyen buru, Ela moyen boye, Ela moyen boshishe o, which is a variation of the greeting of an IFA elder. So Ela moyen buru means spirit of light, I'm begging you to take my burden, to take my conflict, to take my lack of understanding, to take my tension. In Yoruba, that's called hot-headed, Oriki Ela, consciousness on fire. Take that, Ela moyen boye, make an offering, make an offering to the mothers, and Ela moyen boshishe, and put that offering to work to transform my consciousness. So when you frequently, people I hear in the diaspora, they'll greet an elder by saying, Aburu boy aboshishe. No, that's not right. You say Aburu boy, take my burden and lift it from the earth, give it to the mothers. Then the response, which is the blessing, which is the continuity of the process, which is the offering, which is working the ritual, we could call it magic, I suppose, but the ritual elevation, then the elder will respond, Aboye, I take your burden. Aboshishe, I give it to the immortals in heaven. That's the meaning. So it's number one, it's acknowledgement of who's the chief, who's the elder, which in traditional Yoruba culture is important. But and there's protocol or reason for that. If you greet an elder, you never in traditional Yoruba culture say, "Oh, so how you doing?" And the reason you don't say that is because none of your business. And if I had a problem, you couldn't fix it anyway. Leave me alone. So what you say to an elder is, please give me guidance. Be my elder. Let's keep the structure of culture in place. You don't go to great grandma and say, how you doing? And you get physically hurt for doing that in Africa. Trust me. So and we don't know. It's fine. People ask me that all the time, and I'm only marginally offended. But I'm not inclined to answer either. So this prayer is reinforcing kind of a protocol issue, I think. Marcus, do you want to say something?
Yeah. Look, I was listening to all the comments about sacrifice and about some other things. Actually, I think it's important to keep in mind what are the etymologies of the languages we are using. Actually, sacrifice means sacrum facere, making something sacred. Now, that is Latin. Now, when you talk about sacrum in Latin, you are talking about something which is pivotal, means something which holds the weight of something, like the sacrum bone, right? So, meaning making something sacred means doing a sacrifice. If you want to put a bloody sacrifice, fine, If you want to eat it, good. If you cook it well, better. If you want to do it vegetarian, excellent. Now, if you say the sacrifice of the Eucharist means making the sacred action of giving good thanks. Eu means good, charisto means thank you in Greek. So sacrifice of the Eucharist. Then you have the part of the Catholic ritual where you have the offertory of the blood. You not only have it every 50 years. Say you live in the countryside and you go to the church and it comes to the offertory part of the Mass, and then the people will bring the fruits of the earth, like carrots and potatoes, some fruits of the trees, then may bring some chicken, maybe some goat or whatever, as an offering. The offering will be kept in the church, in the parish, and the priest will eat it. So what this means is the animals were offered and will be killed. I'm talking about rural setting of a parish, not in the city of New York. Of course, you will not go with a goat to the St. Patrick's Cathedral. That will be a problem. But that's how it's done. So there was not clear canon in the Catholic, being Greek or Roman, against animal sacrifice. That's an important thing to say. The ban on animal sacrifice was put by the Roman emperors to take the legitimacy from the patrician families of the senators, which were a pain in the butt for the emperors. So I think if we go slowly, part by part, trying to understand how the different language and the history behind the language is done, and how political it is, making a dictionary, as you well say, about this guy translating Eshu as the devil and Olorun as God, and things like that. I think we can do some very good work. Myself, I went to the seminary, so if you want, we can work together. I will be more than happy to do that.
Right. Listen, I hear what you're saying, and I think it's absolutely true within the context of Catholicism in terms of defining sacrifice. My point was that sacrifice is not a reasonable translation of the word ebo, and that consecrating food in rural communities, even in Christian communities, is a common thing, as it should be, I believe. So I agree with that. The big problem I have is what you say is true, and my work is still denigrated by Christians because they see me as involved in animal sacrifice. And I'm not. I don't define it as that. That's not what I'm doing. It's not a part of my faith. And so if I can understand what they're doing, I would ask some effort in the other direction. And I don't see any of that at all, ever, except now, and I thank you for that. But it's a place where we need to join hands and come to a more coherent understanding of what our intention is, and also a willingness to look at the historical distortion of faith for the purposes of denigration. Charles Crothers, who wrote the first, was it Charles? I think it was Charles Crothers, who wrote the first Yoruba English dictionary, was an Episcopalian priest. Yoruba born, orphan, raised by Episcopalians who thought Ifa was devil worship. That's not the guy I want defining the words used in my sacred text. Sorry, it's just not him. You understand? To a lesser extent, his work was then challenged by a guy named Omolowo Lucas, who had a little better handle on it, but still fell short, in my opinion. So yeah, we can compare notes. We should discuss it. We'll have a meeting on that topic completely, so that Christianity can and Ifa both can understand at least that we're using the word differently. I think that would be a big step in the direction. I don't. Yeah, Baba, you're
just quickly. Yeah, just quickly. I appreciate what has just been stated. Part of the problem you were raising earlier, actually, and the example you just gave, actually is a particularly Protestant issue, not Catholic per se, who know the root meaning in the Latin,
nice,
but Protestants who do not, and who have developed a vehement, again, of notions of sacrifice, notions of atonement, notions of sin in a particular way, and especially historically, to denigrate anything African. That piece. So the recovery is what has been offered to know more about the etymology. The problem is that the vulgar understanding of it does not connect with the etymology of these terms. So
that was my point. Yes.
Yes, that's the work to do. The work to do is to, and my students know this, is to compel people to use and to search out and use etymologies precisely because most common descriptions are wrong. My students have heard me say this many times, they're wrong, and they're often intentionally wrong and distorted. Right. So thank both of you.
Listen, then, Marcus, go ahead. Yeah,
I would like to add something humorously.
Yes.
You as a Babalawo, you may not be into killing animals. Myself, I'm a sacramental chicken killer, so I don't, we don't go in the same way. But the thing is that we can discuss this for a long time, and I will be very happy about it because I need a lot of clarifications. But going on the things on how people distort a text, do you realize that in no part of the Gospels Jesus ever says he was born to atone for any original sin? The only place that there is one mention to something that may be construed as original sin in the whole New Testament is in one line of Paul, which says in Romans, says, because of one man's sin and death did come to the world. The rest of the construction was a guy which was Augustine of Hipona, which was so happy with the original sin that he made into a dogma that people go for the salvation of a thing that is not in the scripture, because the Jews do not have original sin, neither do the Muslims. Neither there was such a big deal in Christianity before the time of Augustine. So there was a big controversy about original sin on top. So what I'm saying is we have to address all this because the Bible is a common document between many cultures and ethnic groups, European, African, Native American, and Asian, because people were hit in the head with the Bible until they got a lot of headaches. And now the only way we can undo this disaster is through studying it and seeing what is what in each point. It's not that I personally terribly committed to a Catholic worldview. I'm not. But the thing is, I understand that there's no way to deal with the cultural issues of it without going into a deeper study of how the Bible was mistranslated, how it was used, and what are the repercussions for everyday life. Because, of course, if you tell someone that Jesus did not come to atone for the original sin, they will be horrified. And I say, be horrified, he didn't. Otherwise, he would say it.
Yes, and then we have the additional issue of, which is coming to the fore lately, to my surprise, the idea that the Ethiopian Bible is older than the European Bible by a lot, and includes 86 Gospels instead of 4. So there's been a lot of stuff that's been removed from the literature, and that's a long topic. But for today, let's get back to talking about Ela. Yeah, the variations in Christianity. That was how I got started. That was my first field of study, So I've got things to say, but I kind of leave it under my breath so I don't stir up more controversy than I do already. But yes, thank you for that. And
Welcome. My pleasure.
where now I forgot where we are. Baba Falokun,
We
did you
will
want to say anything about that?
Elei Boru, Elei Boye, Elei Bochiche.
I'd say.
Yeah, we will.
Okay, Ela Poke, Papa, is where we are.
Who? Yeah, okay. Yeah, yes. But Baba, you want to say something?
No, Baba, I think we moved well through this. Only to say that again, I think we come back to this idea of the Ebo as a act of reciprocity, and that and it's a way of saying, IFA says that the alignment with Ela requires our participation, and that nothing can be built that's not first aligned. So when we say Burud may be accepted above, but also may it honor the earth. And for me, that's a very powerful prayer, because that's us. We are the earth. And then may it make our work fruitful, which is that what it is that we create on the planet be aligned also with Ela. And so this for me is personally a call to activism and to working to bring about the good condition. Because for me, this verse says, I'm aligned with the principle of Ela. I've made the necessary inner and outer offering to receive the light of Ela and to return to alignment. Ashe.
Okay. Listen, again, this next line refers to protocol, which I think is important. It should not necessarily theological, but maybe a little more cultural. But Ela Poki Eni Esi So Wa Soro Odun Odun Ko Wa So Dun. So what that's saying is, we thank the spirit of Ela for returning to earth. He's referred to as our friend. I'm not sure about that, but the spirit has returned for the festival. See, that's an important point. Not only is possession part of our individual spiritual discipline as diviners, but it's a part of the communal context. Every 91 days, the community comes together to hear the message from Ela. I don't see that happening in the diaspora much. We've done it. We certainly do it in Egbe Iwapele. I'm sure Baba does that or something similar, but it's not a common practice. And I think I would argue that it's a necessary element for healing some of the family dysfunction that is created by the constant barrage of divide and conquer, really mind control, propaganda, and deception that we're inundated with. If you don't reset the original intention of consciousness periodically, you're going to lose sight of it, and you're going to become buried in the colonialism that you're trying to fight. And I find that when I say you need to take responsibility for how you feel, a lot of people just think that that's not possible, it's not spiritual, and they're not interested. They much prefer the notion that somebody would insult them without being insulted back feels like the end of life on earth to a lot of people. You know, there is a thing called ignoring it. I would say IFA advocates that unequivocally, and Ogre Torah says take nothing personally. It says that in a real crude way, but it says it. You know, in the Odu, Oromila complains that his wife uses the kitchen table as a toilet, and he's offended by that. And so he gets mad and she leaves, and then he misses it. Hello, once you start denigrating people, they're going to disappear. That's kind of the way we function as human beings. Once you call somebody out of name, you've broken trust forever. Think about who's called you out of name and think about what it took to fix that if you were able. And so IFA is saying, either accept that behavior or end the relationship, but make no judgment.
I go, Baba.
Who's talking to me? Yeah, go ahead.
I like
Ivan, yeah.
I like to add that the fact that etymology should be a good viewpoint in looking at words. Most folks don't understand on this broadcast that we're speaking English. And primarily when you start studying English, it normally ends you at Greek or Latin. So when we're studying African and we have different people with their interpretation of what African people are saying, they normally end up using the Greek or the Latin as the root meaning of what a particular African word means.
Right. Yes,
but we here are studying what the Yoruba language means.
But yeah, listen, Ivan, I love you, but I want to take that one step deeper. Yoruba language is 30% Coptic and 30% Ge'ez. Coptic is the original language of Egypt. I think Ge'ez is definitely the mother tongue of Hebrew. Coptic has influenced Greek, absolutely, in my humble opinion. So I would say that the predominance in Western culture is to use the children of African languages without recognizing its source. And that's where the shame is.
Indeed.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. And that's a long conversation. There's a guy, if you're really interested in that, there's a guy named Imhotep. You know his work, Baba? He's online a little bit. He's taken that whole question one step further by showing that the audible sounds of the language are more important than the written form. And once he did that, he really was able to trace the history of linguistic derivation from Africa and also the commonality of linguistics within the continent of Africa. It's really brilliant work that he's done. We're grateful to him. Also, Laird Scranton has figured out that the language currently spoken by the Dogon people is Coptic Egyptian, which is not spoken in Egypt. I don't think. It's spoken very little, but it's the language of hieroglyphics. And the Ge'ez is still spoken fluently in, am I saying that right, Baba? Is it Ge'ez or Gaze?
Gaze. You
Ge'ez,
said
right. I just said it right. That's still spoken in Ethiopia, absolutely. It's the language of the Ethiopian Jewish tradition. And, to show, when Ethiopia was at war and African Jews migrated to Israel, they were forced to convert to rabbinical Judaism, which to me is just colonialism at its worst. Sorry, it's making a judgment about someone else's culture and faith. But we need to try and make room for everybody to own their own cultural heritage. It just, anything else seems silly to me. I don't know. How are we doing with folks? Let's take a minute. Anybody have any questions at all? Anybody? Cedric has a question. Go ahead, Cedric. You can't make that look at me and tell me you don't have a question. That don't work.
No, I don't have a question, but I do have a request. I would like Ianifa for Jollibee to consider speaking more often, because I know she hates it, but I'm trying to tell you, you got a frequency when you speak that makes Ori stand up and listen. I'm trying to tell you, and evidenced by that yard full of birds that came to the house when you invoked Oshun. So listen, I appreciate it every time you come and speak, because please do it more often.
Listen, I'm going to try and co-sign that and not feel like I'm putting pressure, but I think it would be fair to say that there are people in this family that appreciate you. Yeah, that would be
I go.
Ivan, do you notice that her prayers are?
Not only is she an awesome speaker, man, have you people heard this woman sing? Oh man, look out, man. Look out.
What I'm trying to tell you, man. She brought a yard full of words.
Well. She comes by it honestly. She grew up across the street from the Jackson family, so she's been singing since.
Yeah, but the Jackson family don't bring down no Orishas.
That's true. So they learned. they learned from her.
Ashe.
True. Enough of my foolishness. Listen, I don't want to.
I can't come on camera right now, but I really want to thank that Baba who just said that. Just the mention of the mothers in this conversation and the mention of Ia speaking really touched my heart. You spoke some of the words that I was feeling. So thank you for saying that. And I second you on that. Ia, we need to hear you speak more often, Ashe.
Yeah, listen, don't move. But hear what I'm about to say. I'm in the midst of a 8-week course on divination as a setup for taking the ritual classes in the school that is going to be open by the end of April. I know I've waffled on that, but we're making progress finally. But the point I want to make is when the divination class is over, we're going to do at least 4 weeks on Iami featuring IFA Divination, featuring you, Queen. We need to get you in a headlight and put you on there. We're going to have Dr. Otun included. There's also a medium for Ajay named Ia Oshun Wu Fayui, I think. I got that last name wrong. But there's 3, and then also Efuntaya. We have about half a dozen women that I'm going to put on a panel. And we're going to address every single stereotype about Iami and then never talk about it again, because I am so through answering the questions about Iami being evil women that I can't even begin to tell you. But we're going to go through that. We're going to clear all that up and open the door for true parity. I mean, the power of Ifa comes from the difference between and the strength of the unity between what I would call male and female. Ashe, that's not always reflective of gender. Let's not get bogged down on that. But there are different types of Ashe that coalesce in our ritual process to allow for the transformation. Listen, my ability, such as it is, to be a medium for the spirit of Ela is a result of the fact that 30 women in Ode Ramo covered 24 chicken eggs in palm oil, said prayers, and placed those eggs in a tree right outside of the place where I was initiated. And then they spent the entire night, invisible to me, in the forest, making sure that that portal remained open. I maintained access to it, and that there was no challenge to my vulnerability in that initial state of contact. Now, if that's not doing, if we're not doing that in the diaspora, we're not doing IFA initiations. Now, I'm proud of our family for having implemented that, and I pray that we can teach that to others, because it'll shift the notion that IFA priests don't go into possession, I believe. Baba Falokun, do you want to comment on that?
Yes, I think we've covered that. Ela Poke, it's good. Thank you.
I'm okay. So I'll be up for continuing this on a later date. We barely speak the
most
surface.
definitely.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to end with this line. Iroko oko, iroko oko, iroko oko. So the Iroko tree, so anytime you repeat a word 3 times, it becomes the Oriki. Baba Fayemi did a wonderful job of explaining that last week, I think it was, or the week before. But Iroko literally means the descent of understanding. It's also a tree with, think of your kitchen as a tree trunk, and think of the tree being maybe 50 feet around and only 20 or 30 feet high. That's an Oroko tree. There's over 1,000 living things that live in the shadow of that tree. That tree is the meeting place for the mothers of Iami who meet there on the full moon when they're all collectively menstruating at the same time to do the work of searching for abundance, protecting the community, and making sure everybody's treated fairly. That work is done in the astral realm in the Oroko tree, and the Oroko tree is considered the receptacle of mother wisdom within the community. So if you want to access female Ashe, you hug that tree. I mean, it's literally that simple, And there's a taboo in the village for a man to walk past that tree during a full moon. Because I'm an idiot and forgot that, I made the mistake of walking past the Oroko tree during a full moon. Didn't see anybody, didn't think there was anything wrong. But the next morning, Grandma came by my room and did one of these. Remember, I told you not to do that. So there's an element of spiritual power to that is not supported by sexual predatory behavior from Awos against women. It's not supported by denigrating women. It's not supported by any form of sexism at all, And there's different levels of initiation into Iami. The first level is just being a woman. You're automatically initiated into the collective. There's another initiation at puberty. There's another initiation when you're a little older to teach you astral travel. But there's another initiation in which both Ia and Queen and Efuntayo receive, where the mothers themselves in the astral realm come and initiate you into Ajay. The Iami Oshiranga initiation that we've heard about is not initiation into a spirit. It's teaching you how to astral travel. That's called process. Oshiranga is not the name of a deity. It's the name of a process. Oshiranga means astral travel brings me female power. And the power that it brings you is the power to be initiated by the spirits of the mothers who are primordial in the history of evolution. So, and now I've forgotten my whole point there. But I feel it's important to have an understanding of, here's my point. The point I was making was that when a young woman is read at the naming ceremony as being a medium for Ajay, which not every woman is read as that, but when a woman is read as being a medium of Ajay, there becomes a taboo in the community for anybody to say that woman she can't do something. It's absolutely taboo to raise that child not believing, not knowing, not manifesting the idea that they're capable of anything. And so as a community, that's one of the important, that's part of the value of having community. IFA is not a sole practitioner. You cannot initiate yourself into that process without being a part of a community that honors that taboo. And so most people aren't even aware of it, let alone engaged in it. So
I go, Baba.
Who's that? Ivan, yes.
I love what you just said, because one of the reasons for that is the expansion of imagination, and whatever they think will come to pass within the village.
Absolutely. Imagination is the process of co-creation.
Ashe.
Imagination is the eyes of God looking back at itself.
Ashe.
Imagination and expressing our imagination is how we come to understand each other. I know Pedro better than any other person on this forum because I've heard him play music. He can't fool me. I know exactly who he is. And occasionally he lets me perform with him, and I'm always humbled. But anything we do collectively gives us a deeper understanding of others. It's that simple. I'm going to mispronounce your name, but Jacobus, did I say that right? God, I didn't do that right.
Jacobus, that's right.
I did get it right. You looked like you had a question. Talk to me.
No, I didn't have a question. No, that's.
Oh, okay. You were just contemplating.
Well, I enjoying what you've been discussing. And
well, okay, so don't be shy. Samia, do you have a question? I know you got a question.
No, I'm just passionate about what y'all are talking about. I just wanted to add that there's two aspects to language, and I think we have a big problem here with the English language. I'm an immigrant, and I was raised speaking indigenous language, and I think the difference between indigenous languages and unfortunately colonized languages is that they are earth-based languages that are very concrete. Languages, and that's the feminine aspect of the language that is missing in the English language. Because this is one of the things I struggle with my students is it's like, what are you really saying? And we don't have that in English, and I find so many more conflicts arise from the lack of understanding of well, you think it means this, and you think it means this, which is different than what you're saying in terms of words having different concrete meanings, but this abstracted, uprooted, disconnected language that we speak in English, unfortunately, doesn't hold that same, power, say, as Aramaic or Zulu or Yoruba or any of those languages that have a very concrete meaning, even though it could mean so many different things. It means something, But we say hello, we say, are you above the ground or are you underneath it?
Right.
And so in English, I don't know what that means when I say hello, right? And so it feels so disconnected, and it has been a pain point for me over the years. I just wanted to honor that to me is the feminine aspect. It's the earth, it's the body, it's accepting that. Yeah, so I just wanted to thank you all, but this is a big issue in semantic processing, in therapeutic spaces where people don't even know what they're talking about, where they're talking about their fear or their wounding, which IFA makes very, very concrete with not just the word and the Odu, but the science that is in that Odu that is telling you exactly where the block is. So the Yoruba language provides the very material to be able to understand. So I just want to honor and appreciate your theological addressing of the language issue that we have.
It's an ongoing, evolving process. Yeah, I'll tell you something interesting along those lines. The Yoruba word for goodbye is umbo, and if you translate that, it means I'm coming, meaning we're not through. We're going to see each other again. That's a very different expression than goodbye. It took me a while to figure that out. I saw a look on Awo Yemi's face that indicated the question. How are you, young man?
I do have a question, Baba. It's actually something that you had just mentioned regarding the mothers around the EME. In some lineages, I've heard that people were only able to be initiated to the EME after they had completed menstruating. I was wondering if you could speak a bit more on the dynamics.
Yeah, listen.
Paradigm or what the deal is.
I'm going to calm down. There's so much nonsense around this subject. I'm going to be calm. Yes. Every woman is automatically a member of EME by virtue of their birth in a traditional culture. Okay, so that means they join when they're 3 days old, not until after menstruation. There's a shift in responsibility in the women's society. Women who are menstruating are the primary, what's the word? The primary vehicles of astral travel. And post-menstruation, those women are the guardians of those who are astral traveling. So there's different functions based on your age group. Children learn, adults do, grandparents teach. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I get a little annoyed, you don't have to understand. I'm suggesting that if we're going to really understand the nature of the ritual process involving the mothers, you have to understand the sacred nature, the sacred function, the sacred use of menstrual blood. People get creeped out by that, but there is no Iami ritual without menstrual blood. And I'll tell you something else. There's no Ifa initiation without menstrual blood. So the whole notion that that's evil is us shooting ourselves in the foot. Menstrual blood, both in my Transylvanian ancestors and my Ifa elders, is used for what's called starfire, which opens the pineal gland, which is the thing that makes you a medium. And if you think that's evil or ugly or icky or whatever other nonsense, you are going to stay stuck in a consciousness that's unable to integrate right brain, left brain, because that integration is contingent on the secretion of melatonin and serotonin from the pineal gland, which is deliberately blocked by you, for you, by the putting of I forgot what it is, putting fluoride into water. Fluoride has no effect on dental hygiene at all. There's not a single scientific paper that proves that.
Fluorine.
Fluorine. I said
fluoride or fluor, you know.
Sorry. But the point is, fluorine is a byproduct of processing mercury, and it's poisonous, it's toxic, and it calcifies the pineal gland. So here's a big clue. What's the medicine Ifa has for uncalcifying the pineal gland? And by forcing the injection of serotonin and melatonin into the bloodstream. What's our medicine for doing that? Anybody know? This is important. This is the point of today's ritual. Anybody know? Work with me here.
Possession.
Yes, who said that?
I did.
Let's see, you cheated. I told you that. But the possession causes that excretion. That's why you feel differently when you're touched by the Ashe of Ela. That's why we initiate you. 2 reasons: so you can know what it feels like when it happens again, and to initiate that process of triggering the pineal gland in its function to elevate our consciousness. You ever seen the Anunnaki statues of the winged creatures with the pine cone? You seen those? Mm-hmm. Sumerian statues? Sumerian is a dialect of Kalderash. Kalderash is the language of my Transylvanian ancestors. So the bag they carry and the watch on their hand, have you seen that? The watch tunes the frequency to the priest. The bag is like it's a copper circle, like an ankh, but without the little handle to it. And so they hit the ankh on the statues that came. It's how they invoke altered states of consciousness. All right, and the pine cone symbolizes the pineal gland, which looks like a pine cone. Hello, and so that's the culture that also developed the starfire ritual, similar to the way it's done in Yoruba culture and similar to the way it's done in Egyptian culture. Who asked the question? I went on kind of a rant on that. Sorry. But, oh, yes, you asked about Iami after menstruation. Nah, not so much. Let's just say that.
Okay, Baba.
Thank you. Let me look at who looks confused. See, if I don't twist your arm, you won't say anything. And I hate that. I hate that. Listen, Crystal, this is your first time here, I think. You got anything to say or ask? Crystal, hello?
Can you hear me?
Now I can, yes.
Okay, great. This is my first time joining this space, so I'm having an amazing time. I actually don't have the words. I've just been scribbling in my little book here, little notes to remind myself to carry me into the week, little points of strength that I can reference as I move through this process of learning more and developing my spiritual connection. I just want to thank each
Listen, I think I'm going to call on a couple more people and call it a day. So please do the emoji hand up if you have a question. I'm going to call on new people. Sharon, are you new, Eberhard, or have I forgotten? Oh, hello.
There's a hand up, Papa.
All right, let's see who else is relatively new. Marcus, you've been here before. What say you?
I don't have any peculiar question.
No.
We can go on.
There's another Marcus.
But I am happy with it.
Otro Marcus Garbe, WD Mystics. Sorry.
Hey, peace, Alafia. I've been on a couple of these before. I'm just sitting back and enjoying the information and the knowledge. So thank you for even having me here.
Oh, listen, you're always welcome. I just don't remember talking to you, which doesn't mean that I haven't. It just means I don't remember. Sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good.
Originally, Papa.
Say again? Oh, there's two people.
Originally, remember I said Petro, and now Reverend Shinda, they have their hands up.
That's fine. Thank you. Petro.
Please, I very pleased by your mystical insights about Allah, about process of possession. But I have one more question about Eba and Adimo, because it's important part of our spiritual discipline, and I think that if we could talk about this in the next classes or anyone anywhere else, I very appreciate it, because Ebo and the demo is a so deep concept of IFA discipline for me and for much people of the Eastern Europe who accept the IFA teachings from various sources, including the Cuban IFAs, Orisha, and so we have some questions about necessity of Abba, specific of Abba, and regularity of Abba in our daily basis.
Yes, listen, we're going to do a whole class on that, maybe in 2 weeks, I think. So yes, thank you. Everybody join me in a prayer. Petra is in the Ukraine in the middle of the war, and we pray that you stay safe. Lona, Alafia Waye, Ashe Ton. Stay safe, Peter. Reverend Mishinda, am I saying your name right?
Yes, you are saying it right.
Look at me.
So I just have a comment. It's another statement of gratitude, but I'm really appreciating the conversation about the depth of IFA spirituality, and that it's not about doing or protecting ourselves from some external person or activity or whatever. It's about accessing our own power through our consciousness, and that all of these rituals are designed to support that. I really, really appreciate that, because there's so much misinformation, like you were talking about before, regarding IFA. And sometimes the practices are taught in a more superficial way, so that people do think that you use them for certain things rather than for your own spiritual awakening and growth. So just thank you so much for the conversation.
Well, listen, I'm fixing to blow your mind then. Are you ready? Are you sitting down?
I'm ready.
You know what I mean? When we're through with the How to Divine, I'm going to show you, and I say this all the time, but I'm going to repeat it for you. I was blessed to go to Caltech for a while. It's the top physics school in America, if not the world. It's where Einstein taught. And I'm telling you that based on that experience, the physics I learned in Odu Ifa is better than the physics I learned at Caltech. The physics I learned from Odu Ifa shows us how to access free energy absolutely and unequivocally. And we need to be sharing that information with each other. And the places where we're not clear on how to make that happen, and believe me, I'm clear on how to make that happen, but the places where we think, okay, how do we make this work? We have the ability to ask Ela, and Ela will tell us. Hello. We also have the ability to do anti-gravitational travel. You understand that once you penetrate the barrier of gravity, you can travel anywhere in the universe with the energy from a flashlight battery.
Ashe.
That changes everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
We also have the ability to heal any illness through the use of resonance. So my grandfather pioneered that in the Western medical practice, working with Nikola Tesla. I know how to make that work. And also Odu Ifa has the secrets of alchemy. And I'm not talking about spiritual alchemy, although we do that too. But alchemy is the foundation of ancient Egyptian paleoscience, in which they changed lead into gold, not symbolically, not figuratively, literally. And the apparatus for changing lead into gold starts with the pyramid in Giza. It goes about 1.5 miles underground, and then the energy generated by that particular machine is infused into stone circles that go from Egypt to South Africa. There's over 10 million of them that become energized by the pyramid itself. And that process, that machine, is able to transfer lead into gold. You ever wonder why 90% of the gold mines in the world are in South Africa? It's because the South Africans were making gold from nothing. They have that secret. That's why the Egyptologists don't want you looking under the pyramid, don't want you knowing the truth, don't want you to translate the hieroglyphics. And okay, so here's at the risk of sounding really arrogant. I know the secret of alchemy. I plan to teach it. I teach it periodically. There's problems in implementing it because it requires a lot of energy, but the secret is not all that mysterious. So yeah, so all of that down the road, bit by bit. Oh, who's it? Oh, it's
I'll go, Baba.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I got to talk to Geronimo. He's my arch nemesis. Geronimo, talk to me. Geronimo, did you hear me? Dismute. Yeah, dismute. Talk. I can't hear you. Is he speaking? Are you talking, Geronimo? I can't hear you. There you go. Now I heard you.
Oh, yeah, bye-bye. You can hear me?
Now I can, yes. Oh, no, I
You
can't.
can? Okay. Abu Abu here, Baba. Yeah. No, you can't.
Put your question in the chat room.
Okay. All right.
Yes, and then Doctor, let me know when he's typed it in, and please read it for us. All right, so where are we at? Who else here?
I'll go, Baba. Ela
Yes.
is spelled E-L-A, right?
No, you mean Ela?
Ella?
Ela
Yeah.
is E-L-A, Ela. E is pronounced A in Yoruba. It's just like Spanish.
Okay, I got you, Baba. So that would be the green book that you authored, right?
Green book, here I talk about Ela. I've got that reminds me, I've got a new book that I found I got a new book on Ela that I just discovered in my computer last week. Talk about synchronicity. How's that for being an idiot? You write a book and forget it? Okay, so I'm thinking about making that book available to the people who come to this class as a gift, but we'll see. They give me some time to figure out the logistics on that. I hope to have it published in the next month or two, but it's going to talk about everything that we've talked about today in depth. Absolutely.
I share, Baba. Thank you.
Okay, we got the question now in the chat. I can look it up here and read it. Everybody can hear me.
No. Can you hear me now, Baba?
I can hear you. What's your question? Geronimo,
Okay,
talk to
great.
me. What's your question?
Abu Aboye.
Wait,
Very
but
quickly. Last week, or the week before, you had we spoke about the macabre, and you had
Right.
mentioned that there were 3 seals that made up the internal mechanism for the Kabbalah. I got the Star of David and also the six. I got the 6-pointed star. I got the seal of Solomon. What was the additional seal that made up the macabre?
Yeah, listen, you misquoted
What
me.
were the 3 commandments?
Yeah, listen, back up. A three-sided pyramid, a three-sided pyramid has 4 points of contact with a sphere that surrounds the 2 pyramids. You understand? Does that make sense? The 3 points of contact at the base and the one at the apex. That's 4 points of contact. Each of those points of contact creates a portal on the circumference of the sphere that's either opened or closed. If that portal is open, we make 1 mark on the train. If it's closed, we mark 2. The right leg is the upper pyramid, the left leg is the lower pyramid. Depending on how many portals are open and what their position is, it shifts the resonance of the macabre. So there's 256 different resonances possible from that energy pattern. And then you start combining those macabres, you create what's called harmony in music, and you have an unlimited source of creation where the word becomes manifest. So sound generates light, light generates matter, matter generates the physical world. And it's all originates in the subatomic structure called the Merkaba, which in Egyptian is Merkaba, meaning masculine, feminine, and internal. It's an expression of the Trinity. Is Baba Fayemi still with us? He can just find that better than me. But Merkaba in the energy of the Merkaba in Ifa is the energy of Ela, Olodumare, and Olorun.
Got it.
As the primal source of everything. All right.
Got it.
I'm gonna call on one more person. I think Fakinde. What say you? I don't think we've spoken before. Talk to me.
Hello, Baba. Hello.
Hello. Oh, it's Fakinde. I know who it is. Yeah, sorry. Yes. Digame.
I having a problem with my connection.
Sorry. I didn't recognize you. I recognize you now. This is Omomi.
Sorry, Baba. I have a bad connection.
Teni pregunta?
Hello, Baba. You can hear me now?
Yes. Teni una pregunta?
No.
No. See? No. Listen, I've got.
No, I can't hear anything.
That's right. Not to worry.
Sorry,
Steve,
Baba.
No, Trepacupe, por favor. Stephen Vega, do you have a question?
Hello, Baba. How are you? No, I don't have a question. I just want to introduce myself. Thank you for having me here. I'm new to this Ile. I come from the Cuban diaspora, which scammed me and totally got me confused on a lot of things. But I started reading your books and I grew inspired, and I I wanted to learn more of the original Yoruba, where it actually comes from, not what the diaspora decided to make it. It's just sad living in Miami. I see a lot of scamming and all that, but it's amazing what you're doing, and I wish more people would appreciate it, because a lot of the things that you talk about is extremely controversial, but it goes aligned with a lot of other ancient spiritual practices and religions like Hinduism and
Yes.
and Buddhism. And yeah, it's just it sucks that the diaspora keeps Ifa a secret, doesn't allow women to practice, and like doesn't allow women to be initiated into Ifa. It's just sad. It's just very, very sad. But I'm glad to be here, and thank you for having me.
Let me ask you a couple questions and make a couple of comments. First, invite anybody you want to come and join us. This is open to the world. The second thing is, are you initiated at all into anything?
I got my Hand of Ifa, and
Right.
I got my my Hand of Ifa initiation, and in the Cuban diaspora, it's called Los Guerreros, which is Ogun, Ochosi, what is it? Oshun,
Legba and Osun.
yes, but here's the thing. I was supposed to get initiated and do my Santos, but I got scammed for all of that, so I wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, well, listen, here's what I want to tell you. I recognize all your initiations. You're free to come and join us anytime. Anybody with a Hand of Ifa, from a traditional point of view, has permission, which means you have permission to come and help with the initiations. You can do divination for yourself. Anything I teach here, you're welcome to learn. And there are no secrets. So if you have questions, just call me and we'll move you forward if you're interested. That makes sense?
Hello. Sorry, I think you muted me by accident. Yes, I am extremely interested, and I am looking forward to this journey and learning more and getting initiated. And what's very interesting is I had this intuition or premonition that I understand that in the diaspora they do a lot of rituals, right? And everything, it's like the rituals are just sold, and obviously coming from that, that's what I thought Ifa was, just rituals. But I had this revelation, either in a dream or something, that the most powerful ritual will eventually come from your own mind. Once you can reach the point where you can do, I guess, the magic with your own thoughts, that is the ultimate form of ritual. I'm not sure if that's right or wrong, but that is something that I got.
It's 100% correct. And I'll tell you something else. The most potent ritual that we do, the most important ritual that we do, the one I look forward to the most, is sitting down and sharing a meal with those who come together to pray.
Thank you. That's amazing. I'm really glad that I'm here. I'm really glad I was able to meet you, and it's an honor. And let me not take any more of your time.
Oh, that's fine. Listen, call me anytime. I'm going to be traveling for 2 weeks. Either call me later today or when I get back, but you're always welcome with any questions. Tell me what you do in the world. That's the last question.
Me and my brother own a shop, a mechanic shop, and basically just repair cars. I'm not a mechanic. I just run the shop. My brother is the one that actually owns it. I invested some money in it. And that's what I do in the world. By the way,
listen, if you have access to auto repair, you've just become my new best friend.
Yeah, I know. I think I've become a lot of people's best friends.
My new best friend, so that's good.
Do you pass by Miami ever?
I sometimes, for you, I'm in Shreveport. I'm not that far away. We do stuff about once a month, so you're welcome anytime.
I would love that. Where are you again? Where?
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
I'm right on the border with Louisiana and Texas. Yeah.
I would love to pass by. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Yeshimabet, I didn't say that right.
Yes, you did.
Did I? Oh, nice. Good.
That was the name of Haile Selassie's mother, and
Right.
it means consecrated to God and woman over 1,000 houses. And so I loved it. My parents named me Isabel, and I never liked that, so I changed over.
Nice. I like it. All right.
But my question is, I I'm wanting the site where I can get the recordings.
Yes, that's a good question. Uh, 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 Doctor, will you put it on the chat? It's Egbe Iwa Puele.
I did.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
see it. I looked for it. I didn't see it in the chat.
It's going to be on the Facebook page of Egbe Iwapwele.
Egbe.
Iwa Puele.
Are you a part of the Egbe group on
No,
Facebook?
she's not. That's what she's saying.
Oh well, she won't be able to get the recording.
Yes, she will if she joins the Egbe.
Well,
if we give her the address. Please, write the address down on the chat room so that she can read it there.
Manny Baba.
Thank you, and thank you.
And for those that don't know, it's Egbe, Iwa Puele, Ifa Orisha Community, all in caps. You have to apply, and then IA will click you in. It usually takes about a day. We list all the things we do there, all the schools, all the courses, all the links to this. And also you can contact me by inboxing me at Awo Falokun. If you're not a friend, apply for friend. And if you send me a message, we can still connect. But there's a little bit of a delay when we do it that way.
Okay, thank you.
And if you're in Chicago, for goodness sake, go buy stuff from Mama Africa. She's got an amazing selection of things. And if you go to Spain, check out Pedro at the Jazz Club. And if you come to Shreveport, come by and listen to me on Thursday nights at the Noble Savage. I have the only jazz jam in town. Listen.
The link to the group is in the chat. So if you click on that link, when you go to join the Facebook group, please make sure that you answer all the questions, because the system is set up to where if you don't answer all the questions, I'll never see that you tried to get in.
Thank you.
Yes, appreciate you.
Percy, you've got another name, right? Did you speak? Did you have anything you wanted to say?
Greetings. No, this is my first time here.
Okay.
I'm not initiated.
Tell us where you're from.
I'm originally from Nashville, Tennessee, but I've been in Atlanta, Georgia the past about 12 years.
And what do you do in the world?
Well, I'm a business technology consultant.
I like it.
Yeah. This week I got a 90-day notice because we've run out of work. So, so it's been interesting, but other than that, all is well.
Time to think positive.
Right.
Para gente aquí habla español, fala Dara tiene un ritual in District Federal, ¿verdad? Faladora, dígame, tell us, dijo que pasa en Mexico. No, dismute so we can hear you. Pedro.
Hi, Baba. Abura Boye.
Pedro, tell Faladora to tell us what's happening in Mexico.
No, que solamente que papá dice que qué está pasando en México. ¿Qué es lo que está pasando?
En México ahora todo está con incertidumbre política.
No. Pronto haces mucho initiation para IAMI.
Ok, ya entendí, sí, justo. Pues sí, estamos felices porque están las personas del ILE muy contentas de recibir IAMI ahora en mayo, a finales de mayo por acá.
Listen, is it all right if I invite any women who are interested to come and receive EMA there in Mexico City? Ask him, Pedro.
que si hay personas interesadas en recibir Iyami en México, ¿no? That's what
Sí,
you asked.
Iyami, Orisha también,
Yeah.
Tefa.
¿Cuándo van a ser esas iniciaciones? ¿Cuándo serán?
Del 29 de mayo al 6 de junio.
Ah, wow. From the 29th of May until the 6th of June, it will be, I mean, they are going to make some initiation in Iyami and Orisha as well.
And at least 2 of the elder mothers from stateside will be there to assist, and we'll have a good time.
Yep.
All right. I think if I don't see any more hands, I'm going to call it a day. What do we got here? And Percy, you're always welcome. If you got questions, inbox me.
But definitely, it would be great. I don't know if you have in mind to in your planification of the 8 sessions to talk. I mean, to have more time and talk about Evo. Definitely is one of the most controversial point that that a lot of people want to be clear. And what is this about? And definitely it will be a good chance.
I'm going as fast as I can. We'll cover it all. We'll all be masters. Spirit is telling me everybody needs to be fully trained. So fully trained is good. Yvonne was complaining that I wasn't teaching enough fast enough. Hopefully she's changed her mind after today. Be nice to me, Yvonne. I know Cedric was really annoyed with me for being so slow, but we're getting it together, and it'll be good. And Stephen, in this ELA, there's no secret, so you can learn everything, and you can learn everything with one hand to VFAL, and you can do everything with one hand to VFAL. So
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
And if you're young and strong, I'm really going to put you to work. So there it is.
Yes, I am looking to learn so I can work. That has been what I've been looking for. Just learning.
Your first assignment would be to help me strengthen the walls on the chicken coop. That's your, see, you've admitted that you're young and strong. That was your first mistake, but we'll get through it.
Yes. Thank you, Baba.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to call it a day. Everybody wish me well on my trip to Trinidad. And also let's make preparations for meeting together in Mexico soon. And then also Shreveport. There's a couple of dates open soon. Shreveport, what's happening in Shreveport? There's stuff in June and possibly July. So just let me know if you're interested in moving forward. Everything's affordable, and we'll make it happen.
Baba, sorry to interrupt. I'll message you on Facebook to see if you're available to talk.
I'll talk to you as soon as I hang up.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Just when I thought I couldn't find my way out, yeah, I searched the God in me to find my way out. I know it can seem way out, but the Creator flows to and through me from way out. I'm talking way out, yeah. See if you believe in the God in you, it's a better place.